coming for the Sun Devils on Saturday night as Arizona State had to go up against Washington State, who came into the game red hot, 4-0 in their last 4 games, and they were perfect in Pac-12 play, and they handed the Arizona State Sun Devils their first loss at home of this season, 37-32. Welcome on in. I'm Troy Lynch alongside Jacob Janower, and throughout this week we weren't really sure about Manny Wilkins' condition. He was practicing somewhat consistently in Tempe, but we weren't really sure if he was going to start. However, he did get the start. He goes 5 for 6, 39 yards through the air, and he also had a rushing touchdown, which gave the Sun Devils the first TD of the ball game. However, after that, he was not in the game. It was Dylan Sterling Cole's ball game, and he went 7 for 16, 82 yards through the air. No touchdowns, however, no interceptions. But Jacob, how would you really kind of describe the quarterback play tonight?
Well, Manny played well. I mean, he looked like the Manny Wilkins of old. There was that question throughout the week of whether we were going to get the Manny Wilkins we saw against Colorado or the one we saw against Texas Tech and even Cal. And he really looked like the old Manny Wilkins, at least at first. The injury slowed him down. We saw Sterling Cole, and I mean, Sterling Cole looked like what he is, an inexperienced true freshman. And it's still a learning process for him. I mean, he's like he's a 4-star recruit on this team, so he of course has potential, but it's going to be a long way to go for him, and it was a struggle tonight.
The passing game was a little bit lackluster. However, N'Keal Harry led the team in receiving yards, and he had some crazy catches. But for the running game, Washington State, they're one of the best in the Pac-12 and stopping the run game. However, Kalen Ballage and Demario Richard able to go 113 yards, and most of those yards came on a 52-yard touchdown run by Kalen Ballage coming out of that Sparky formation. It wasn't Dylan Sterling Cole all the time. They were switching back and forth, but looking at the numbers, the running backs, they did pretty well.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Ballage's 52 yards on the ground really helped their case, as far as numbers go. They did have 113 total, mainly from Richard and mainly from Ballage. But ASU was really able to keep the Cougars off balance. Richard and Ballage each had a good amount of carries, sometimes in the Sparky formation, sometimes not. So their ability to mix it up and the power-speed combo of Richard and Ballage really helped out Sterling Cole, helped him get acclimated in this game, and really kept the team in the game for most of it.
So that was the Sun Devils on the offense. We'll take a look at their defense. They had a pretty solid night. I mean, Luke Falk, he's going to be Luke Falk. Last time Arizona State went up against Washington State, Luke Falk went almost 500 yards through the air and 5 touchdowns. Tonight, yes, he got his touchdowns, but he had some troubles. He was sacked 7 times on the night, 3 of them coming from Karan Crump, 2 from DJ Calhoun, and the rushing attack for WSU held to negative 52 yards.
Yeah, Washington doesn't love to run the ball. Of course, we know their air raid offense is what they pride themselves on. Falk really did well through the air, but he didn't have a lot of long passes, and the long plays have really plagued ASU throughout this season. He had a 52-yard pass to Gabe Marks, but after that, a 29-yard pass was the second highest yardage pass that they had in the game. So ASU's secondary, despite struggling, despite letting up all those yards, really was able to keep them at bay when it came to those long plays. And as you mentioned, Crump, Calhoun really got to the quarterback. Linebacker Marcus Ball mentioned that the kind of quarterback issues with Wilkins and Sterling Cole really elevated the urgency for them to get to the QB, and they were able to do that more than they used to.
Well, the Sun Devil defense able to help Arizona State out at least a little bit down the stretch, but special teams really played a factor in tonight's game. There was a 100-yard kickoff return for Washington State in the first half, and then later on in the game, Tim White, he was able to return a 70-yard punt back to the house, and that really looked like the turning point for Arizona State, but they still come up short.
Yeah, exactly. That was a big turning point for the Sun Devils, even though they didn't win. I mean, it did kind of prevent a blowout because they were on the verge of kind of getting destroyed there. And with the lackadaisical quarterback play, you're kind of unsure of what was going to happen if White didn't take that back to the house. And that, of course, led to that trick play, 2-point conversion, Fred Gamage pass to Cody Cole, another thing out of Chip Lindsey's bag of tricks, which made it a one-possession game. So White's touchdown kind of gave hope for the Sun Devils, and that was his first return touchdown of the year, so a big momentum boost for him.
Yeah, Tim White finally gets his first touchdown of this season, and there was a lot of tension coming into this game. All throughout the week, there was rumors, not necessarily rumors, but WSU was actually accusing Arizona State of sign stealing, and that tension did not diminish at all, including after the game where Todd Graham, he had some strong words to Mike Leach.
Yeah, Mike Leach has kind of made his mark as a out-of-the-box coach. He'll say what he wants to say, and doesn't care what really anyone thinks about it. After the game, Todd Graham said some words that really can't be repeated on his video. I mean, he did say that he doesn't have respect for him. We could say that. And that was kind of Graham putting it as nice as he put it. Really didn't want to talk about it after the game, but I don't know how long this tension's going to boil over. I think it was kind of a 1-week thing, and we'll see if it comes up next year, but that's for next year.
Well, we can't repeat Todd Graham's words, but we will repeat the score. 37-32 here at Sun Devil Stadium, Washington State. They remain perfect in Pac-12 play. The second to last time Arizona State will be at home this season. The only other time they'll be at Sun Devil Stadium will be against Utah later on in the season, but they'll have to travel up to Eugene to play the Oregon Ducks, who've been struggling, but they still pose a very offensive threat. For Jacob Janower, I'm Troy Lynch. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Walter Cronkite Sports Network. And if you want more football coverage, go to CronKiteSports.com.